What's up, Velo? I'll just wait for a couple of minutes for some other people to get here and then I'll start answering you guys' questions. Yeah, there is sound. Sorry, I just connected my headphones. MRS. Good question. Good question. I don't think you can even get the chart here. What's up, Jimmy? MRS. Yeah, I've seen this happen like all the way from here. I was looking at it for a while. It was basically a pump and dump. It's a company from Montreal, actually. from where I'm from, and they have this exchange which is basically linked up to our system of money transfer and banking. It's called an e-transfer. So basically, you send them something and they send you back crypto. It's basically like for the US, it's like Venmo and Cash App, but only like it's directly connected, like it's directly with the banks. And so basically, that's what their token is backing all those utilities that they have. Here, there was just it was a pump and dump because there was a group here that started calling out the trade, and people bought, and they eventually lost a lot of money because some whales who were in at the bottom here sold everything they had around here, and it just dumped, and it's never recovered so far. But I've had a small position from here. Like I've lost on it, but it was a pretty small position. And now like in the past days I've seen it go up a little. So honestly, like if you're looking at it from a fundamental perspective of what they're doing like as a utility, because they're like the only people in Montreal that I know of who are legitimately doing this over like Telegram, WhatsApp and stuff like that. So it's a good idea of what they're doing. It's a nice project. Again, it has a bad reputation now because of what happened. All in all, fundamentally, I would invest, but it's not really something you can evaluate technically. Ethereum. Ethereum, it bounced off nicely off of the 12-hour SC here. So like it's been doing its accumulation, very very nice formation. Like I've explained all of this in the previous live stream and in my channel if you want to go check it out. But it's basically doing a wick off accumulation. And up until here, I was looking for it to mitigate all the way down here. But since there were equal lows here and a nice SC, if it had a nice break of structure on a lower time frame, I said I would invest in it, and it kind of turned out okay. I'm still looking for it to go through this zone here before I can really start putting money into it. But other than that, yeah, as long as we don't see a break of structure to the downside, like on smaller time frames, like if it goes through this SC here, I would maybe take some positions out, and like before even hitting break even, I would take some positions out around here, maybe all of them around here, and wait for it to come down here before going up. But yeah, I said if you have any positions from my previous trade like that I made on this, just put your stop losses to break even. It's not worth it to keep the position if it's going into drawdown, because from here on out, like if it beats this low, we could definitely see it going down here to the 8 hour and 90 minute SC. Um, and same goes for BTC. If you have any of the positions here from the lower time frame entry, uh, you definitely should have taken some profits here, as I said, and put your stop losses to break even, because this too, like if it goes down, we could see it mitigating a lot lower. Link had a nice SC here, I remember. So we had here the mitigation of the initial low. So that was the SC that got tapped. So from here, if we see any lower time frame entries, uh, you could start to look at even more entries here. We had an SC that got tapped, but we still have an opportunity here on this SC going up. I would watch out for this NF though. Uh, right over here, I might consider taking a few of my positions off, just because it did break structure to the downsides, and you are trying to catch a low. So you definitely should take some profits here. Mm, mm. BTC, I'm liking too that the volume's going up here. So that means that we actually have longs that are going into this, and this move is supported. So when this comes down, maybe here or maybe here, depending on what volume is doing. Like now it's decreasing, so maybe that's why I took a little bit of profits because it kept decreasing. But if it comes down into either one of these zones and I see that volume is going up and there's a nice SC here, I'll definitely look to take some positions. Yeah, so see here at the 45-minute is nice. And here as well, this is very, very nice. Do you guys have anything else you want me to break down? KSM, well, it acted very similar to BTC. Like it had a nice zone here that it took out. So basically, it took out some liquidity here. I'm assuming it came to get some sort of NF here, but and once we went up, you see we broke structure. So honestly, I would start to look for longs as soon as it gets into discount market. Like you could be looking at maybe this SC here. This looks very nice. So you could see this going into discount market. Like if you have any positions, maybe take a few profits because you have volume going down here, bullish volume. So maybe I wouldn't recommend keeping any positions from here, but once it gets into discount market and if volume goes up, you could you could definitely get some. Cope, Cope, there was an airdrop that happened. So it was worth a lot at some point, I know, but it's not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's a sell off. It's a project in the making. Like the guy behind it, Siri, he personally, from what I've seen in how he acts in all of these scenarios, this guy's in it for the technology. He's not really in it for the money. So honestly, I believe in what Cope can be, but for the moment, it's not really showing any signs of bullishness. But there was news that you to qualify for certain airdrops, you had to have like a certain amount of Cope. I think it was like 100, so that might be why people are still buying it a little bit. But you know, we have to see something real come out of Cope before we could really consider it for a real like a real investment. ADA, yeah. So ADA never came to my original NF that I had here, but it did come down to mitigate this zone, which I'm assuming is an SC on lower time frames. Yeah, so you have an SC here that it came to mitigate. Yeah, so we could definitely start to look for longs. It broke on some nice points of structure here. Yeah, so this SC here, which came to top the 90 minutes, we could definitely look for some longs here. And this is all depending again on how volume is acting, how lower time frames are even acting. Like we go down to the 1 minute and check how that's going. If it's showing that it wants to go up, it'll once it hits it on the 1 minute directly, you'll have an impulse from which you'll be able to take a trade. And here as well, we have an SC. This one I wouldn't really consider it because it didn't come to take out any sort of liquidity. If anything, it made equal lows here. So I would definitely see this coming down into discount market, and as soon as it gets into like this area here, I would start to look for potential longs. So on BTC also, like if we look at the futures, there are gaps that happen. You have one here, so this potentially like if we want to go lower, this is where I would see us going like bottom. So this would either be the bottom of the bull market or it would just be the end of it. We would really have to see on lower time frames what it does. We have a gap here as well that didn't get filled yet. So this is where if we do break, I would look to take some profits, like some major profits. Oh, AI, definitely. Um, a lot of cryptos right now are already using AI, and Cope is one of them actually. Like it's one of the biggest projects that has like that's based around AI. This is why I'm a little skeptical about it because I'm not sure I really believe in what it's doing at the moment because we don't have the power to control AI yet. We have no idea what it's capable of. So all of these cryptos who are actually using it, unless they're thoroughly tested, I don't know how well it's gonna perform and whether it's gonna fuck up the market or not. XRP2, it acted nice. Like price action was beautiful for like tapping the 3 day NF breaking structure and then taking this low. Like this really tells me that XRP might want to go higher. Came to tap the NF and the SC right around here. So if we do see some bullish price action, like from here, again, all depending on volume, and again, volume is going down now, so I would consider maybe taking some positions off. Um, yeah, that's nice. So this SC as well could be tapped. Yeah, Soul is very, very nice. Like I'm liking the price action on it. Mm, It grabbed this low here. So first of all, Soul was moving amazing like since the beginning of the drop. Like whenever everything dropped, this guy kept recovering as everything else was dropping. So first of all, that was telling me that it's strong. Second of all, it just came to it just came and grabbed this zone of liquidity. So if we do see him going above here, maybe like coming here and back down, we could definitely start looking for some longs. And again, Solana, amazing project, like fundamentally definitely worth investing in. Like they're the ones running most startup cryptos, like running their contracts and programs. So you know, FTT as well was very nice. It came to grab this liquidity initially, and then it came here to grab this, and now it's having bullish price action. So this is definitely saying that it wants to go higher. But again, all of these have these steady drops. So uh, you know it's hard to say whether or not you should be keeping your positions or taking profits. But to be safe, and if you're trading leverage, especially, I would recommend taking large positions off. Like once it comes and mitigates all of these highs above these highs, these SCs and Fs, always take off positions if you're trading leverage. Um, I don't really know this crypto. It's been ranging for a while from what I can see. It's not listed many places like KuCoin. It's just not something I would invest in. But I mean, it could have potential like all of these other small market cap cryptos. Maybe wait for a breakout because this came to grab this high and it went lower and it has a huge NF here. Maybe wait for it to have like at least a nice strong reaction here, and then maybe you could start putting some money if it does come back down here. RSR, yeah, I've been looking at this for a while. Like it made some equal lows here, so I could definitely see it maybe. No, actually, it didn't make any equal lows. Like it mitigated them, but I could still see it coming to this SE here. If it does break here, break structure here, maybe I would consider putting some money back into it. But for now, I'll wait for a clear breakout, especially with what happened with like in Venezuela or wherever they were doing their project. Yeah, it definitely sounds like a good project, but it's just if it hasn't been listed on many crypto networks, I don't know if it's new, but I don't know. I really don't know this. Like if you're going into these types of coins, I would definitely recommend you look into tokenomics, like and how they're burned, what's the total supply, stuff like that, because that's really what's gonna help you determine whether something has the potential to go up. Like you can identify most scams just by going through their white paper and just going through their tokenomics.
I mean, it's a good project if they can deliver on what they're promising. Like they're they're really promising a lot. If they can actually deliver, I would definitely recommend investing in this. Okay, these guys have some nice investors. Right, so we've been over a good amount of charts. They all look the same, like a lot of mitigation, a lot of bullish price action. So if you guys have any questions or like specific charts that you want to see, go ahead. If not, I'll end the live stream in a couple of minutes. Yeah, so SCRT is looking the same. Lots of mitigation. If we see like a break from the zone, then we could start to look for longs. But other than that, again, I would still stay away for a little bit. BTC, yeah, so mitigation, it's very nice. Like price action is amazing. If it keeps going, like I'll definitely start taking some more positions on the 45-minute SCs, like depending on lower time frames. They look pretty nice here. Again, like if it breaks through the zone, but other than that, we could be seeing. It's a little scary to see, but there are some futures here that like they've been gapping, and we may be seeing a spike to the downside, and this could either be like the bottom of the bull market or the end of it. Really can't say. It's all going to be depending on the volume and how what's happening with lower time frames. And here I would definitely, if you have any positions, like if it does end up going back up here, I would definitely take some positions like off. And for El Salvador, I don't really know what to say about that. It's a small country and it's not producing that much of the Bitcoin community and Bitcoin mining, but again, it's just FUD. Like like it's good news, it's FUD. Again, like I wouldn't really rely on it to really fuel Bitcoin, but it's good. Like they made it so that it has to be accepted as payment everywhere. And they're very close to the US too, which is nice because the US has been printing so much freaking money that it's worthless at this point. So Bitcoin, in my opinion, is what's going to be the next stable currency, if you want to say. The US dollar really is going down. Like it's a little scary to see. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the live stream. Stay tuned for the next one. If you guys have any questions, just shoot me a DM on Discord or just tag me in the chat. Thank you for your time.